Good morning, Zen. How are you?
Good morning, Jack. Good evening for me. I'm fine. Good to hear you.
Yeah, good to hear you as well. Time is moving faster in Hawaii. I blink and 10 minutes passed. It's crazy.
Time is relative. It's been. I think the days just move so fast. So many things are happening all the time these days. Um, so yeah, I'm just enjoying it.
Yeah, when time moves fast, when you're having fun, right?
Exactly, and we're having a lot of fun. Every day, something new is happening. So, what's on your mind today?
Everything. I tweeted quite a bit this morning. I posted the Zen team hard at work, and I posted the test results for the Zen NFTs. You probably have seen it. The
Yeah.
blue on black. It's amazing how much stuff is happening with these NFTs. It's much more complex than regular Zen.
Yes, and it's all been broken down in the light paper, and I'm just waiting for the final test net version, not the final one, but the latest one, and then I'm gonna include that in my video where I make the light paper also comprehensible. And very exciting. It's a lot of fun just to think about it. It's it's uh, it's very beautiful the way it's been designed. Big shout out to Leo as well, who's been very driving force to get that all in there.
Yeah, we're planning to launch the testnet again, or testnet with the new version of Zen NFTs that include the Zen burn. So it would be very interesting to see what people will do. I mean, obviously there's Zen on testnet as well. So we're curious to test the dynamic of people potentially acquiring Zen and then burning Zen to generate those NFTs. So that could be pretty interesting.
Yeah, the dynamics here, and as you say, it's going to be interesting to see how people do that on testnet as well. Do you actually need Zen in your wallet in order to take part on? Now I'm talking about only in the testnet environment. Do you need Zen to have in your wallet in order to also burn it?
You do. Otherwise, how else do you burn it? So what happens is that the web app will ask you to for approval to transfer Zen that you have, and I think obviously there will be a requirement to specify how much Zen is that you're burning, because like let's say that you have a billion Zen or 100 million Zen, and but you're only willing to burn 10 million. So you'll be given an option to specify how much Zen exactly you're burning, and so that NFT that you're generating will have let's say 10 million X. So 10 million X is how we would be referring to how much Zen has been burned and therefore transferred into the new contract. And when I say transferred, it is really burned. But now the NFT contract has recorded the action of the burn, so it has the value. And obviously, uh, due to self custody, it belongs to, I mean, everything belongs to you. Zen used to belong to you. Now that you have burned it, and now you have the NFT as a certificate, like a digital certificate that indicating to the world that you have done that action.
Right, and that's a very interesting dynamic, the dynamic between Zen and the Zen FT. So there's going to be three different categories: rare, which might change name actually, and then limited and collector or common. So the two first there, the rare, special, and the limited, they will have the burning option with them. and the special also has 5 different classes. So it can you can choose which class you want to attain to, and as Jack says here, the amount of burn will define what kind of subclass, so to speak, you will get there, and those are just going to be limited to 10,000, and then they're never going to be able to be minted again. And then you have the limited, and to get a limited, you also have to burn, or is it optional there to burn?
So, so
And we
for
have
the limited, you have to burn 1 million plus. So you cannot burn less than 1 million. If you burn, I mean, I don't think there will be even an option to burn anything less than 1 million, and that's actually debatable. Perhaps we should have the common or collector NFT also receive the burn, but it's optional. So that would be a good idea. Like, let's say that you only want to burn 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000, then you will not get the limited, but you'll get the collector one, and the collector one will embed the record that you have done it. Now, the rare ones, obviously, they're very, very rare, 1 through 10,000. And those will probably go first, but they have a very specific schedule of how much Zen you need to burn. Like, for example, 1 through 100, which is a subsection of rare, the requirement to get that would be 1 billion. So if you burn 1 billion, then you have a chance to grab first 100. And those are obviously extremely, I would say, impossible to grab and probably very expensive.
Right. So what's happening with all of this? And also, before I forget, maybe you want to mention the 7-day thing there, if that's settled. 7-day plus minus. But what's interesting is the fact that we are in our most inflationary phase right now with Zen, as you all know. We want Zen to be everywhere, so we designed it this way so it can have a super high inflation to go everywhere. But with time, we can already see the disinflationary effect in the mint formula. The AMP is constantly reducing, the EAA is constantly reducing with adoption, and this will have another effect, because we're going from this abundance and introducing another concept, which is rarity, which is in the other extreme. So this new game theory that adds on top of Zen protocol with Zen Torrent, the ERC 721 contract, I find that very exciting, very interesting.
Yeah, it is quite interesting. Zen torrent is what we call the protocol. Torrent, obviously, everybody knows what it means. It's just the definition is like a, well, generally it's water. So torrent relates to water. There's also been BitTorrent, and BitTorrent was relating to the amount of bits that's flowing together. So Zen NFT, the way that I see it, is an application layer on top of Zen that exists in the wild today. So until Zen NFTs launched, you wouldn't have any way to do anything with Zen except maybe to stake it, or for the popcorn token, to stake it for yield, or maybe buy and sell, and obviously to mint. But with these NFTs, you get to generate your own NFTs that you can essentially bring to the world by your own action, in line with the first principles of crypto.
Right, and this is all why it's for, and to spread the first principles of crypto everywhere. And now when we're introducing the NFT world to first principles of crypto, it's interesting to think of this as from network growth perspective. We're already on 10 chains, and we have made an impact on all of these 10 chains, and now we're adding another layer to these chains with NFTs. And that's very interesting, because as you all know, there are differences between crypto and NFT communities. and they are overlapping, but they are also very different in mindset, in technology, in communities. So I'm very excited to see how that will play out. And from a network perspective, this is like, the way I see it, it's like an amplifier for adoption with this new addition. How do you see about that?
Yeah, certainly. When we look at the gas burners or the most active elements uh, of trading online in the decentralized world, we do see OpenSea and all of the NFT action as almost always at the top. The top obviously is Uniswap because there's a lot of trading going on there. But the second one, we actually compete for the second and third place between OpenSea and Zen minting, which is quite interesting. So it totally makes sense to add the OpenSea or NFT marketplace and make Zen available there as well. So Zen NFTs is really, I would say, a derivative of Zen. But what's really interesting about Zen NFTs is that you have to specify the future mint. So on one hand, you have to burn Zen, so you have to acquire it, or you have to mint it for yourself at some point, and then your Zen NFT becomes also a bulk minter for the future. So pretty much all Zen NFTs carry the ability to mint more Zen for later, which is very interesting dynamic.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a bulk minter at the end of the day, and it encapsulates the time value of waiting. So the utility is pretty amazing if you think about it. It's going to be way easier to manage. The execution is going to be faster. It's going to be more secure. You can do more with it. You can unlock the time value. It brings utility for the Zen token. Adoption is being fostered here, and it also educates the same community about NFTs. Many people are maybe just from the crypto world and haven't played around so much with NFTs, or just looked at them as pixel SVGs. But there's really there's a lot of interesting things you can do with NFTs, and this is a first step, and then from here you can do many other interesting things. We've talked a little bit about composability with NFTs and fractionalization and stuff like that as well. So it's a giant move for Zen protocol, Zen crypto as a project, as I see it.
Yeah, for sure. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that Ethereum is going to be the first one we're going to be launching on. And then based on the action on Ethereum, we are going into Polygon and Binance too, and pretty much everywhere where there's NFT marketplaces. So OpenSea is very vibrant on Ethereum, but there's many other trading NFT platforms. For example, there is one on Ethereum Proof of Work that people are playing with. And what's interesting there is that Ethereum Proof of Work is a copy of the old Ethereum. So all of your Bored Apes are there on their platform. You can actually have the copies, and people will be able to generate NFTs there too, because obviously Ethereum Proof of Work has been minting Zen nonstop as well. So we see a lot of mints happening there, and so is Polygon. So people who are worried about spending too much money on gas have options to do something on those chains too.
Yeah, that's very interesting because the contract is the ERC 721 contract is EVM compatible, so it can be launched on all of the chains that we have launched on now. But all of these different chains have their own NFT communities. Like that's the like Dodge chain, for instance. That's what they want to do. They want to build a thriving community with games and NFTs and whatnot. So this is a great opportunity to try them. And this is why it's so interesting. It was interesting to launch on OK an OKX chain as well, there was a lot of congestion there. But this is exactly why Zen is interesting, because we can compare the different chains since we're breaking down the barriers, and we can do that with the ERC20 token. But it's going to be very interesting to explore the ERC 721 world as well with the Zen NFT here.
Right. And yeah, you're totally right. I feel like people who just want to play, they can choose a chain that they just want to explore. Like, for example, they could explore Phantom. Phantom is very inexpensive. And the other thing to note, it looks like every chain we launched on, and there have been 10 chains so far, all experienced congestion. Now, here's the question: like, would a token that's completely useless and not interesting cause those chains to congest? Like, clearly not, right? So it speaks for the community demand. And think, if you think about it, 1 or 2 or 3 chains seem like a lot of chains, but we have so far 10 chains, and every one of them had to adjust their gas parameters to compensate for the demand. We've seen things on EVMOS, which is the Cosmos ecosystem. We pretty much took over all of their transactions. I think OKX has experienced a tremendous growth in the wallet creation too. So if Zen wasn't interesting, there wouldn't have been a demand, because on OKX, Zen did not exist until yesterday or 2 days ago, and all of a sudden it exists and everybody wants to play with it, and that brings so many users to the chain. So I would say chain congestion is a positive thing, because it forces them to adjust their economic principles to accommodate for all of the newcomers, which is exactly what we planned, and in line with our strategies to bring masses to blockchain. And we now have seen it on 10 different chains. We moved the gas prices on Ethereum. Obviously, now things kind of settled down. We moved the gas prices on Polygon. Even Binance, which has massive amount of users, have experienced congestion where people had difficulty sending BNB to each other. Now, in short term, this seems like a negative thing, but actually that just speaks for the demand. So demand is clearly there, even in the bear market. So that's what makes me so excited.
Yeah, and if these chains are going to be able to scale to billions of users, I guess this is a good stress test for them to see if they can handle congestion as well.
Yeah, and we want them to scale. We want those chains to be useful. So Doge chain too, they had to upgrade all of their hardware to accommodate for Zen minters, which would have happened sooner or later. But I think with our project, the scaling is being accelerated, which is just awesome.
We have one of our most trustworthy and loyal Zenians in the house. Denizen, how are you, buddy?
Oh, hey, and Stu, how's it going?
Very good. And this is an AMA, guys, so feel free to raise your hand and ask something. How you doing, Denizen?
Oh, great. Jack was just talking about the launch on OKX, and I actually had a question about a conversation he was having in the chat yesterday with someone else. It was somebody who was kind of concerned about all the bots and all of that stuff going on OKC. And you wrote to him, I quote, at the moment, it seems to be there's a lot of scripted Zen minting, which in itself is not fair due to the fact that their gas price was set quite low. We are working on a solution. Can you delve into that a little bit for everyone?
Yeah, absolutely. So what they had to do is they had to raise their gas price to about 100 times. So it almost was not expensive at all. And all of a sudden, with all of the demand, they had to adjust the gas price. Otherwise, Zen just was getting minted for pretty much for free, which is not ultimately what we want or what they want. We want some sort of economic incentive to be, or at least economic pressure to create value. Hey Zensu, can you take over for me for just a second? I just need to step out for about 10 minutes.
Absolutely, no problem. Yeah, Denizen, what is did you try to mint on OKX chain yourself?
No, I haven't.
Yeah,
The fellow in the chat yesterday was concerned about the gas prices and just the total congestion on OKC the other day, and Jack mentioned something about scripted Zen minting, and he says, quote, which is in itself not fair to the fact their gas price was set quite low. So Jack just started explaining that they had to bump the gas prices up and all of that stuff, but I don't know if you can add to any of that or not.
not so more, because I didn't look into the technicals of that. All I know is that they experienced quite a lot congestion, but this is we want them to experience this, and we want them to be able to find that equilibrium of what works if they're going to be able to scale, basically. They also disabled the swapping possibility from ETH to OKT on OKX chain, so temporarily, but they included that again. So in the pinned messages in Telegram, you can see the route you can take. It's much simpler than Dodge Chain if you want to try it out on OKX chain as well.
Yeah, I saw that the traffic over on OKC was just mind-blowing. Just how fast it went. It's probably still going at that pace, I'd imagine.
What other questions have we got from the community that you've noticed?
Concerning OKC?
No, in general.
Oh, it's
Pumped about this NFTs?
It's about the same. It's all about the same. About a handful, 5 or 6 of the most general questions. People starting from scratch and they don't know anything about Zen at all, to people wanting to know more the nitty-gritty details about how the Zen NFTs work.
Yeah.
A lot of people are really excited about the Zen NFTs. And yeah, I think it's great you guys are holding these AMAs every day about them to really get the word out, because I think a lot of people, when they think NFT, they think just a little picture. They don't understand where the value is coming with the Zen batchment. So
Exactly. Yeah. There's I'm gonna go through it in my video where I break it down basically from the start. What is an NFT and why is it different? So there's a lot of utility coming from there. True Rare, do you have a question?
It's not actually a question. It's my perception on the OKX Zen or something. Like, I think what they've done is really dodgy, because initially the gas was cheap. Then I think they probably minted as much as they wanted, and then they increased the gas for everyone else. I think that's absolutely dodgy, because there's no reason for you to increase gas if the network gets clogged because there's more activities on the network and gas price goes up. Then that's it. But you don't just increase gas after you've secured your own bag, and then it turned me off, and I'm not minting on it. It's absolutely wrong.
Yeah, so I'm actually back, and so I would agree with you if it wasn't for the fact that we increased their network activity 50 times and they were just not ready for it. So even basic things like OKT token transfers were not working. So if nothing works, then you have to somehow slow down the activity, and you can't slow down the activity of a decentralized contract unless you somehow turn it off, and Zen is impossible to turn off. So they tried multiple different solutions. First one was to raise the block size to allow people to, or to have their network to be able to actually process all of the transactions. And and the demand was still too high. And generally, if you think about it, Ethereum would raise its gas dynamically. So something very similar was happening there, except that they had to adjust their gas price manually, just because it wasn't really working as needed. So again, the chain has to work to process anything. I don't think they have minted themselves. They were not planning to do it, obviously, and there's no point for them to mint it, because if somebody, a single person, becomes a whale and creates so much Zen, there will be no price action and no value. So they wanted, I believe, is to have value for everybody. So what they have done is something similar that already works on Polygon and BSC chain and Ethereum chain, which would raise the gas price dynamically. So they just had to raise it manually, just because they didn't have the process in place just yet. So it isn't unusual for the gas prices to go up. I mean, we would expect the demand of the network, given that the network cannot scale infinitely. What has to be done is the cost of the network as the demand moves higher. So it isn't anything that I would say that they have done wrong.
Didn't they know that the Zenians were coming?
Well, of course they knew. I mean, we were planning we were planning on this launch for at least 2 weeks. I think what they didn't know is whether it's actually going to be so many Zenians, which is kind of cool. I would say. I mean, the chain got broken for just a little bit, but they fixed it, and now it works.
Yeah, it seems like they undervalued our community.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think it's a learning process for everybody. When we first launched on Ethereum, we actually did not know that there would be so much demand ourselves. The fact of the matter is that Ethereum has been around for a long time, so it had the safety protocols built in. But some of those newer chains, like Phantom and Moonbeam and various other places, like I would say Binance existed for a while, so they have the ability to sustain high network activity without going down. So the other newer networks just need to learn, and I think they're learning.
Yeah, to me, blocking the withdrawals and blocking the bridge was a really bad move from their side.
I don't think it was the bridge. It was the swap. Yeah, but they disabled it, but then they removed it. But it's as Jack said. It's if you increase the
they just handled it badly, and that's it.
Yeah, well, I mean, clearly, I think if we were to launch on any other network in the future, which I'm sure we will, what we need to tell them is to be ready to either have the gas being adjusted higher dynamically so that you're not clogged with transactions, or just do some sort of provisions where you can accommodate all the users. So we'll definitely be a lot more. I wouldn't say we can't really be strict and tell them what to do, but the market dictates the value, and the value there is that if there's a demand and they're giving away gas for free, which they were, actually requires better balancing. So every game that you play, and when I say a game, everything's kind of is a game. So game theory exists in all of the aspects of life. Every game has to be balanced. So when things are out of balance, you get things like that, where rapidly something gets overdriven, and then the adjustments need to be made, because the game without balance has no value.
Hex Live, you have a question? Or did you want to?
Oh, damn! Thank you. Hold on. Sorry, I'm holding my daughter. But dude, yeah. So I had a question. Like, I wrote a bot. I was going to snipe all those original Zen transactions, right? And, I'm sitting there refreshing the website to try to get the contract address, so I can plug it in and start going to town. But, then the gas spikes. And I was just curious, Jack, do you think, the contract address was leaked? Or do you think, the bot people that killed it are obviously better than where I was at that moment in time? They could have listened to the blockchain for new, contracts getting deployed and looked at the method signatures to see if it was yours and got it, even before it was public. Do you think that happened? It seems like something happened. I just was wondering your opinion on that.
So, in my opinion, and my opinion is based on what I have seen, obviously, is that the team and we were very careful not to pre-publish any addresses or anything like that. So we pushed the button, so to speak, the contract got deployed, and it lived on-chain for about 3 minutes before we updated the web app. Until we updated the web app and published the contract, there were zero transactions. And so that tells me that nothing on-chain was happening, because we can actually double check it.
Are you sure about that, man?
With their Explorer.
I was literally
100% sure. I'm 100% sure.
So we're both
because
100% sure. That's okay. That's fine.
Yeah, 100% sure, because I saw the web app being deployed, and only after the web app was deployed, we saw immediate transactions happening. They were going fast, but it wasn't until the web app published the address. The address existed, or the contract address existed on chain for about 3 minutes before we launched the web app. And those 3 minutes showed zero transactions, which tells me that nobody was listening, nobody was tracking, and we were very careful not to execute this function called contract verification, which publishes the source code. Because once the source code goes into chain, I could imagine there would have been a scanner that looked for the contract signature or source code signature and could start acting on that.
That's what I'm doing next time. Next time I'm doing that.
Right.
Yeah, I wasn't as savvy then.
But I tell you this, that we published the contract first, and we ran the source code verification to publish the source code only after we launched the web app. Only after. So the web app was absolutely the authoritative source of this public contract address that nobody has had, and we can verify it on chain that there was no activity. So 100% sure.
Cool. Thank you for that.
Yeah, of course. And of course, we want things to be fair. We're a fair crypto foundation. There is no gain for anyone if we let people or ourselves game the system. This is not what we stand for.
Zen Crypto Me.
Thank you. Thank you, Zensu. Hello, Jack. Hello, Zenians. I was lucky enough to mint something on the OX chain. But yes, I agree with a lot of Zenians here, because I did experience the gas price rising as in when the mint was, starting. I would also like to know if it's possible for us to let the the chain that we are going to mint on, let them know in advance that we Zenians are probably going to flood their chains, and they should probably be ready with all their protocols and so on. And my last question was about the I'm not sure when we are going to launch on the next chain, but in case if we do, is it possible for you to probably have a community poll? Maybe you give a multiple choice of chains to the community, and one of us, the community chooses the chain to mint the next one.
That is a good idea. I think what we should do is we should select maybe 3 or 4 chains as our next target, and then have the community vote on which one we should go after. Great idea.
Thank you. That's all I had.
All right. Okay, guys, raise your hands to bring in questions. It's AMA, so you can just ask anything, really.
We have King's Way. I mean, how you doing, buddy?
Hi, hello. I was just wondering, will there ever be a Zen burn function, or even a Zen blockchain?
Zen Burn is coming. It's coming with Zen NFTs. Please take a look at the white paper or light paper that we have published. It describes in detail. And also, if you type in Zen Burn or Zen Crypto Burn on YouTube, you will be able to see a lot of videos that are describing exactly what we're planning. Zen Burn will invite people to burn Zen to receive NFTs. So that's the idea here. In terms of future Zen blockchain, I wouldn't say yes, I wouldn't say no. At this point, we're just trying to build up the ecosystem, and we're working on the application layer, so to speak. So we're creating the smooth demand, I guess, and we're building tools, and we're building essentially the community to take advantage of availability of all the chains. Depends on how the future turns out. It may or may not be the case where we would come up with our own blockchain. I always felt that you do not need to create an exclusive club where things are localized, because we in our tenets of our existence of Fair Crypto Foundation, we want to unify the crypto population and give people options, rather than say, here's the one that you go to, and it's a special door, and there's a special secret handshake, so on and so forth. At this point, we just want to onboard 95% of population out there that hasn't been exposed to crypto. So Zen has been designed to be safe crypto for people to enjoy and to have fun with. And it's kind of like I always say, we took the genetic code of Bitcoin, and we looked at the Satoshi's white paper, and we added a little bit of Doge and or Dogecoin, and kind of like meme coins elements, which generally stand for abundance. And we gave it to the community. And when I say we gave it to the community, we did not pre-mint, pre-mine. We just let people play with the code in the wild, so to speak. So yeah, that's and it is so exciting, because it is the I guess one of the rare opportunities where everybody makes Zen, and everybody will be able to make their own NFTs without buying them. It's just between you and the blockchain. There's no one else. There's no counterparty or third party that's selling you stuff that will eventually get to enrich themselves. So we just want the community to feel like that this is the people's crypto in a complete sense of the word.
Yeah, so that there is already in Zen protocol a burn function, and that function is being called upon with the new Zen torrent protocol. So it's up to and now we're making it possible for you to interact with that, basically, with the NFTs. So then it's up to you to value how you do that weighing balance between burning your sweet Zen in order to get something else. So then you have to make that valuation for yourself, if it's worth it or not. And this is why it's very interesting from a game theoretical perspective, because you have to think about what is the utility I can do with the NFT that I can't do with Zen, and vice versa.
Sweet Zen, I like the way you say it, Zen. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I have another question if you don't mind. We see a lot of questions about the batch minter. So do we have any status on the batch minter from Zen? Plus, I wanted to know if it's possible to implement any burn mechanism in the batch minter. Like, let's say if a user would like to mint on a new chain, he or she should either get an option to burn one of the Zens from other chains in order to use the batch minter. Not sure if it's possible. That was my question.
Yeah, so Zen NFT is actually designed to both burn and batch mint all in one. So that's why they are created. That is the plan. Super exciting stuff. In terms of burning from one chain and then doing something on the other, at this point, it's probably not possible, but it may be possible in the future when the liquidity pools are set up. So we'll just have to see. But yeah, bulk minter, batch minter, it's all part of this NFT project. Each NFT will be able to batch mint for you, equalizing the playing field between people who are, I guess, crypto savvy or understand how to write scripts. So it's kind of like have a script built in the protocol itself. So you will be able to choose the number of VMUs, and the VMUs are virtual minting units, which is equivalent of the wallets or the wallet addresses that you can engage. And it's all up to you how much gas you want to pay, because each wallet address will require you to spend more gas to mint in the future.
Yes, I understand that concept. I was more in line with the batch minter. For example, let's say if today I want to do some batch mints on the OKX chain, as a Zenian, I should be able to choose, let's say, BZen or MZen to burn in order to execute the batch minter on OKX chain. So that way, I will be able to use OKX chain as well as burn some of these Zens from other chains in case if I'm holding a lot, something like that.
Yeah, so I think one
Not
of the
related
options
to NFTs though, yeah.
Yeah. So one of the options will be is that if you hold a lot of Zen on one chain, you will be able to swap it for Zen on a different chain easily once the liquidity pools have enough liquidity, and then you'll be able to transfer between chains. And I think OKX actually has a pretty good nifty system where you can do a cross-chain swap. And we've been exploring them in detail. Like we were able to use Ethereum from the Ethereum blockchain and then transfer or swap that Ethereum on for the OKT token on their chain, and then use it as gas to do things there. So similarly, you will be able to convert your minted Zen into any chain you like, and then burn it, which is an equivalent of a burn, really. So burn cross chain.
Okay, thank you.
Let's bring in For Echo here. How you doing, buddy? King Crypto. Hello.
Hello. What's up, everyone? Jack Levin, Zen 2, GRC, my man. What's up? Talking about batch minting, right? I know there's a couple of batch minting applications like Coin Tools, etc. And like, which one do you guys see that like performs the best? Because I heard that Coin Tools could be somewhat of a scam or what's not, but like, what batch minting application would you guys suggest that we Zenians use?
At this point, obviously, we don't have these NFTs done yet, and once we get them online, we would clearly would prefer, for the safety sake, for our community to use Zen NFTs to batch mint. At this point, a lot of people did use coin tools, and we see a lot of gas being burned and used for coin tools. I looked at their on-chain contract. It looks like there aren't issues with the contract itself. However, there may be an issue where their website may go down, but they did publish methods to claim your mint in the future should their site go down. And you should be able to do it with Etherscan. So it was very nice of them to do that. And I know in the past that there were issues with them, but I did speak with the developer from their team, and they seem to be not doing anything shady at this point. So I wouldn't necessarily endorse them because they can get hacked, anything may happen. So, but I do see that they're quite popular when it comes to batch minting. So I've played with them, I have used them, I looked at their contract, I looked at the code. Obviously, it hasn't been audited, so there is contract risk. When Zen NFTs come out, obviously we're very careful with our code, and we always pay to the third-party auditor company, Certec, at this point, to look at the code and to make sure nothing can possibly break. But even with Certec, there's always risk. But at least there's a due diligence done, so to speak. So Zen contract itself has been audited, and Zen NFTs will also be audited. So when you use Zen NFTs for bulk minting, you should be fairly assured that the code has been looked at by not just our team, but someone else too. That's their sole purpose in being is to make sure that the code is safe. So I would say that we're doing everything we can from the safety perspective.
So once NFTs comes out, where would we be minting? On OpenSea or on
Zen.network.
on
Zen.network.
Great.
So our own website will allow you to mint NFTs. You don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah, guys, do you have more questions? I think we will go on for, I don't know how long you want to go, Jack, but ask us anything.
Yeah, Jimrat in the house. I see you're lurking. I'm sure you want to speak and say something juicy. You always have good questions.
We have many celebrities in the house as well. Taffy Boy, Gunin, Crypto Lola. I see you all. Bella, Vasil, Shane, JC. Good to see you guys. Honey Deals. Oh, here we have Honey Deals. He likes to talk. Honey Deals is our savior when it comes to voice chat. He's being entertaining and hosting and educating a lot of people in voice chat. Very grateful for that.
And he speaks good English, not like us.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, I was making a joke this morning that I wish I had your accent.
I don't have an accent. I speak normal English. Honey Deals, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Zensu. Okay, sorry, my mic was closed. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, hey guys. It's so nice to hear you guys. It just seems to get better and better, these AMAs. I have a couple questions in regards to the NFTs. There's been a lot of questions, concerns. So I'm going to ask the question from my perspective. So, for me, my top value and concern with the Sweet Zen project, best thing since sliced bread, is the overall community, the long-term project, and the core community. So I'm speaking from that perspective because, that's where all the discussions are going, and so people are wondering. Some people, like you said, Zensu, have no experience with with NFTs, right? And they're used to crypto, and they're going for the long game, Zen for the long term, right? And so there's questions of like, so how should this be played? What is it? How does it work? What's the value? So two questions that I have. One is, first of all, when it comes for the batch minting aspect, all the throughput, you guys were talking earlier about what happened on OKX. So what do we know in terms of the efficiency of the gas fees, given there's going to be like 100 transactions in those batchments to get the rare NFTs? Is there really no added cost? Is there risk to lose transactions on chain? That technical aspect, like what do we know? Because people ask me that, and I'm like, I try to say, well, maybe they'll be a little bit more expensive, obviously, because there's 100 transactions going at a click of a mouse, but I don't know exactly like how this has been tested. And my other question would be, just in helping to understand, like someone like myself, who's not an NFT guy, right? Like, how does it work? How should the core community, those who are the most bullish on Zen and the most, in holding Zen for the long term, how should they understand the whole NFT aspect of it? How the value is turned? Is this short-term value? Is it speculative more? That aspect of it. So yeah, a lot of stuff, but hopefully this will answer many questions that have been asked.
Hey Zen, so why don't you take that question real quick? I just need to open the door for someone coming in. People are setting up a jumpy house for our kids here.
Sure. So the first question, I think we're gonna do a like I did with the launch. You remember, like a pre-launch video with some like tips and tricks to the community, because it's gonna be like very congested, the network that day, like for sure. So we should do some tips and tricks when it comes to this. I'm not like an expert and like figuring out like the optimal gas optimization myself. So I'm eager to learn. But then the other question is, how should we think of this as a at this NFT? And there I think I can make better answers. The interesting aspects of this is like the introduction of rarity, because you have something, we created Zen to be as a medium of exchange, and we want it to be everywhere, and we want people to use it, we want people to give it away to people. But then we're creating 3 different kinds of categories of NFTs, and they all have very different characteristics. So you have the most rare one, which is like just this concept of super rarity. How are you going to relate to that? Are you going to like do some short-term mints, or are you going to pay for Zen just to get one of these rare ones? Which utility, like the utility of the Zen torrent is given that it makes everything much easier, and the utility with the Zen NFT in itself is kind of unclear at the moment, but it's something that it's going to be rare. So you have that dynamic, and then you have another one, which is the mid segment of the NFT, which is limited. So this one, so the first one is going to be limited to the amount that's going to be able to be issued, and the second one is going to be limited to a year. So there you have to think of the time aspect of, instead of having, as with normal, of having Zen having an amplifier for 8 years, Here you have 1 year to think about as well. As we talked about many times, people say, oh yeah, this 8-year inflation, it's too long. But like compared to what? And for the purpose of spreading adoption to the 96%, we need some time. So you need a kind of long amplifier and amplifier effect. So let's introduce something where we have something that can only be issued for 1 year. So now we have these two comparables to play with. So you also have to burn some Zen in order to attain those. And then you have the third category, which is a collector, and this one is something that anyone anywhere can mint for free. And as we talked about, you're creating your own value yourself, and now you can do this, but in bulk, so to speak. And then we're adding this other layer of so Zen Torrent is like a application on top of Zen, and it brings in this other kind of dynamic to the whole situation, because now you have other communities, other markets to play with. So it's a personal journey. Instead of just minting, we want people to think about value in terms of many different aspects, both in terms of it's a medium of exchange, but not only is it different the kind of value you have as it is right now, but it's also changing with time. And it's also in the environment that you're doing it with. As we've seen now, if you draw the parallel, all of these different things that have been branded themselves as crypto, but really isn't crypto. You know, everything from 3AC to Celsius, Voyager, now BlockFi, FTX, they've all been very good at marketing and saying, hey, we're crypto, come to us. And they gathered support from the crypto community because they fooled us too, and saying, hey, we're for adoption, so it's good for everyone. But they all gone bust because they didn't follow the first principles of crypto. So the thing is, what we need to learn is it's not only about the value that you have in a token, it's also about the environment that you're in. So we need to learn that we have something of value, we can transfer that. This is the core of peer-to-peer exchange. We can transfer that to something else, and in order to do that, we have to understand how this value works with time, but also in different environments. So it's kind of a big question. There's a lot, everything is going into this because it's so fundamental. So
I know.
Is it going to be worth to get a special or super rare Zen NFT? No idea. To be honest, that's the short answer.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah. So, because my concern really is the community, right? Because that's, I think, the very top value of Zen. It's such an awesome project. There's so many things that can be done through it. I mean, this is just the beginning. So when people come with these questions, and I'm trying to understand, you see, my analogy in a way that I see it is I see it like, we started this fire, right? And everybody's gathering around, and it's a big party, right? And it's a community coming together, and these Zen NFTs, or these added functions to the Zen NFTs, it's like we're throwing more things in the fire. We're making the fire bigger. We're attracting more users, more adoption, and it's just the beginning, right? It's not the point per se. It's not like Zen is about NFTs now, but I'm trying to put it into a frame and context and help people so that we all can kind of keep the the good alignment, so to speak, so the least people fall out of line with the intentions of Zen, the contract, and where it's going, and so that we could unite best possible as a community. Because if people get wrecked or there's confusion, it's unavoidable. But if we can if we can help most possible to stay on track, everyone together, and do, you know, everything and go for the long term, where I think the biggest potential really lies is in the long term and the breakthroughs that Zen could bring about, you know, with such a long, when you last for a long time, you can achieve, you know, you can go to the next level, right? You can reach really big things.
Yeah, I think because you've seen the speed at what we're operating in, and it's been just about over 40 days, and we're on 10 chains, and we're introducing a new light paper that's going to work in conjunction with the first one. So if you just fast forward 2 years, what's going to happen? Probably there's going to be a lot more, not only from the team and Jack, but also from the community. So we want this. I think we cannot also be. We have Zen protocol as the base, which sets the ground rules, and finally we have something that's based on something that's makes sense. I mean, that's the reason why we have attracted so many people in this community. It's because it's transparent. It adheres to the first principles of crypto, but then from that we need to create all of these different kinds of use cases and utilities and etc. So the way to do this is by constantly just educating our community about how these things function and how they work. But I sense that there's some kind of like we could do just Zen protocol and then stick to that, but we need to be creative with innovations to make Zen protocol useful as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just the aspect of understanding, I guess. We're all like, some of us, you know, I can just imagine some projects where, you know, they're in the long term, and in crypto, you know, hodlers, Bitcoin users, I mean, I guess they too, you know, when it comes to NFTs, they're kind of like confused. So it's more just to enlighten and understand better, you know, how it works. So I guess we're all going to learn in the process.
I'm gonna teach you. I'm coming out with my new video here any day now, where I go through the basics of what is an NFT really. So that will be a first step to educate everybody who doesn't even know what an NFT is or haven't even traded with it. So yeah, it's gonna be excited. Let's bring in some speakers here. Black Dot, you have a question? Good to see you, by the way. Long time.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, man, I appreciate it for sure. Yeah, but I want to actually, I'll comment on what Honey was saying as well, because my question is kind of similar, but, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I just think that a simple way, because, you know, Honeydew was asking, you know, how can we kind of simplify this for, you know, the community or whatever. I'm just looking at it as like, this is a way to kind of expedite the process, for one, of minting, you know, with the Vast Minter, but also, you know, all of that value is encapsulated within that particular NFT. So, you know, if anything, you know, like if you went and did 100 individual mints or whatever, you know, on your MetaMask wallet, then, you know, those have value, but they're separated, you know, they're not like unified or whatever. So this kind of like expedites the process and encapsulate all that value into one little cute, you know, artifact that is convenient, right? So to me, it's like a convenient, you know, aspect as well with this, because now I've got all of this value, you know, some of it's speculative, but it's convenient as well. And so I can sell it early, or I can hang on to it and mint later on, you know. So there's all these different capabilities that we now have that we didn't have prior to just like individually going into MetaMask and minting and not having the ability to encapsulate these and extract that value. So that's what I would say to that. But my question is regarding like the gas NFT, the burn NFT. How does that work? Like, so if I were to burn like 1 billion and then I can mint this particular NFT. Is it also the same as far as like the value proposition? Is it equal to the value of the burn? If that makes sense.
That is a good question, and I am back. I can probably take this question on. So the question was, how does NFTs relate to Zen, and when it comes to value proposition? So I think both elements are connected together. Obviously, Zen NFTs has the utility function where you can mint more Zen and you can do it safer. You don't have to juggle a gazillion wallets. You can just use one Zen NFT and mint up to 128 wallets with it. So it does work as a producer, but it also acts as a consumer. But the consumer has to somehow burn Zen, right? It's kind of like a payment to the contract itself, except the contract does not keep the Zen that you burn. It literally gets rid of it. And by the virtue of getting rid of it, it makes Zen more valuable everywhere. And the fact remains that anything that has value is due to the fact that people are interested in it. There's no other really reason, there's no other reason for anything to have value except the community. So the larger the community we have, and we have quite a few people getting interested in Zen, is the more value Zen will have. And so when you take Zen and you burn it and you reduce Zen's abundance, like so to speak, to a similar level, it's kind of like a transmutation. So you transmute the Zen that you have either purchased or you minted by spending gas and spending a little bit amount of time to wait for the mint to occur, or maybe you received it as a gift. So the value moves from one form to the other. It's kind of like the physics conservation of energy. So the energy cannot be destroyed. It just moves from one form to the other. So similarly with Zen, you go from the ERC20 contract that's freely available into a ERC 721, which is just an extension or a different form of the same blockchain action. And the blockchain action is driven by the community's engagement. So the value, I would say, is going to be balanced because, first of all, you require Zen to be minted first, and then you burn it, and then you convert it into a different form. So, but it also based on, for example, how excited people are about NFTs in general. If NFT market was non-existent, then we probably wouldn't be doing it. We'll probably just focus on the tools to make Zen be mintable safer. So I would say definitely the value isn't destroyed. It's just converted between contracts.
So, one more question, just a follow up to that. I've heard you say a couple of times you've referenced like the participation, like the people participation. So, would you say that is actually the true value proposition, like the prime value proposition across like the Zen protocol and now the Zen NFT platform?
That is what we have designed it to be from the get-go. We didn't want to have any sort of difficulty in getting crypto. We wanted crypto to be freely available because we realized from the beginning that the onboarding into crypto has been kind of a long time coming. I would say 95% of people in the world are still not in crypto. And when they do get into crypto, they often get burned. So we wanted to create something that is easily available and abundant and has lower risk potential, which, Zen being free allows for that. So definitely the value proposition is just bringing more people in. Just imagine having 500 million people coming in that haven't been into crypto. What will it do for the crypto world and the blockchain technologies and all that? Not just Zen will have value, everything will have more value, because whether you're holding Bitcoin, Ethereum, hacks or anything else that you can imagine. If we have more people understand the technology and understand all of the conditions and safety behind it, and just make everything better and smoother. If we can invite more people that can develop better protocols, like all of the creators out there, they don't even know that they're creators yet, but they will figure it out. There will be new creators coming in, and we hope that Zen is this onboarding mechanism that will allow more people to join this world and make it better for everybody. So that is what we stand for, and that's what Zen was designed to do, is to bring everybody in and to get people into this world and make our world better for everybody.
Yeah, an interesting thing there, you mentioned the word convert. Like now, in order for people to get Zen, we have to play with convertibility, and we have to be able to take Zen ourselves and create other tools which we can convert it to, and learn how to differentiate between those two values. Good questions, Black Dot. We have Sirius, and
Hi guys.
Hello.
Hi. Thank you for bringing the crypto first principles again. I waited 12 years.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm 12 years. I'm from the beginning of everything. I watched the Genesis block, and I'm from the beginning. And thank you for bringing, Jack, back the principles. I have small questions regarding the minting of the NFTs. I want to know, what is the minimum of the virtual units that we need to mint so we can get the unique NFT? I know they need to be 100 days, but I couldn't catch any information about the minimum of the virtual units. The second question is, do you plan or see the options to optimize the gas spending for the contract in the first day when everybody tried to mint? And the third question, okay, I will stay with those two, and I will.
Too many questions. Too many questions, but all good ones. So optimization of the gas it's not up to us. The blockchain exists and it adjusts gas by itself. It does it dynamically. The only thing we can do is not to introduce anything suboptimal in the code that will just waste the gas. That's not what we want. We just want it to be as efficient as possible, and I think we will be. In terms of VMUs stand for virtual minting units, which is an equivalent of the number of wallets that you're letting participate in the Zen creation or Zen mint. So 100 VMUs is going to be the minimum for the rare and limited NFTs, and they essentially signify how much Zen. It's basically Zen multiplier. So you're letting your VMUs work for you as if it's the parallel CPUs on your computer. So computers now come with many CPUs, like 4 or 8 or 16. I have seen 128 and even more. So VMUs are kind of like those parallel workers that work and make Zen for you in the future. Of course, you have to feed them gas, like so to speak. So they have to consume gas because they create more transactions on the blockchain and mint more Zen for you. In terms of the days specified, the days are not limited on the lower end or top end. You can specify 1 day at minimum, or 421 days as of yesterday, as dictated by the Zenska formula. So days are dynamic. You get to choose them, and for rare NFTs, you get to make a choice. Do you want a collector or a common NFT that isn't special? There are going to be many of them, and you can say 5 VMUs, 10 VMUs, 50 VMUs, as much as you want to pay in gas, really. But the special NFTs will require at least 100 because we want them to be less available and retain more value. So, but the days you can choose as many as you want, and with VMUs you just specify the rarity, so to speak. And of course, the Zen burn is a part of that formula too, and we'll be publishing that formula or rather schedule within days so that people know exactly how much Zen they need to burn to get the very, very, very rare and special NFTs.
Yeah, thank you for that. That means that the rarest will be above 100 units. Okay,
Yeah.
that's I actually managed to mint the on Ethereum under 100 C rank. I have under 100.
Okay,
rank
so
on
you're a Zen OG then. You're a Zen OG.
Yeah. I'm not using bots. I'm totally manually myself.
Right. You're doing the hard work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Yeah, I understand. I've done manual mints myself as well, and then I tried coin tools just to make sure it's safe. Let's bring some controversial questions. Does anybody have anything that's controversial? Because there've been some controversy on Twitter, so I'd love to address anything that's bothering people or anything that's sticky that people want to discuss too.
Hey Jack, can I ask you a question? This is Joseph.
Yeah.
Hey, and thanks for all the good work you're doing, guys. I was thinking, right now, if you look at one of those, some of those tools that are on the market for bulk minting, they're kind of like more VMUs, or in this case, addresses for now. You ask to create, it looks like they're naturally inflating the gas fees. So you end up with this, like, for example, CoinTool seem to have like an average around $6 per account when it comes to minting. Meanwhile, if you look at the prices on the market at the same time, and I'm doing my own minting through Python, the code that I wrote myself, and I'm getting like 40-50% cheaper gas prices, and I'm getting accounts through just fine. So I'm thinking, like, in terms of these NFTs, in order to create, let's say 100 accounts or 100 VMUs at the same time, that's gonna take some time. And if there is a congestion on a network at the same time as, probably hundreds of people will be doing it, then those fees will go over the roof. Have you considered something like, I don't know, like a slow release kind of a operation where you can, define your gas fees? I'm willing to pay whatever 15 way for 100 accounts, and I don't care that it's gonna take a day or two to get that NFT, but that's the price I'm willing to pay. And would the underlying protocol support something like this if somebody wanted to code it?
So the good question. So the good news is that we actually don't have to do anything. So even now, if you go to coin tools or use any other method, whether it's manual or not, even if you're doing one wallet address, you can go to your MetaMask and you can go to advanced settings and you can specify how much gas you're willing to pay. And what will happen is that transaction will land into a blockchain and just wait for the gas to drop. So, for example, on Wednesday, like literally this week, I executed some test transactions and I specified my gas fees to be at 11 Gwei, which allows me to mint pay about $3 per wallet for gas. And so far, it's been sitting on the blockchain waiting for the gas to drop. Now, when the weekend comes, which is starting, I guess, today, that transaction will ultimately execute, and it will get me the gas I have specified with my MetaMask.
Yeah, as long as you're not going too cheap, because then they can drop you completely and you lose whatever investment you had in gas.
That is actually incorrect. You will not lose your gas because transaction that isn't executed will not take your gas. Your will your transaction will be dropped and you get your gas back essentially.
It happened to me on a couple of transactions where I wanted to cheap out and I went with like 8 something of gray, and after 4 days it just said failed and the account went to 0. So I need to look into that maybe closer.
Okay, so once we get off this Twitter space, send me the transaction ID and I can take a look at it to see exactly what happened.
Yeah, I can show you. It's when I was claiming actually, not when I was seeding account. But what I do now, and my question was kind of around that, is that right now my script, I basically specify I want to pay 11, and my script will literally wait until it drops to 11 and only execute then. And so I was thinking that would be really nice feature if that was something that you could code into your website, that I would say, okay, I want 100 VMUs, but I don't care that it's gonna take 6 hours. Just wait until you get to my limit, and then execute those VMUs. And that would be something that could probably also prevent a lot of issues with congestion, right? You still get the transactions through, but people would probably, I don't know what that would do with the price of Zen though. That's maybe a
well, I think you can't cheat the economic model of Ethereum. Now, when we did launch Zen on October 8th, I've actually seen the transactions where people specified 250 Gwei from the get-go. Like they literally specified how much gas they were willing to pay. So I think there is no question that when Zen NFTs launch, at least temporarily, the gas will spike. Yeah. So everybody have to be very careful in terms of how much they're paying and understand how much money they're willing to burn on gas. So that's very vital. And we'll of course make educational videos to explain to people the potential pitfalls of jumping in too quick. Because when Yuga Labs, for example, released their NFTs, they skyrocketed the transactions to 2,500, which is quite a lot, and it made everything else expensive on Ethereum, so people were complaining. But it lasted for about a weekend, and then everything settled down. But at the same time, people ended up losing money, unfortunately, because they would specify incorrect settings in their MetaMask. So this is something to be aware of, and unfortunately, not much can be done. I mean, of course, Yuga Labs said, hey, we really need to be on our own blockchain, which, I mean, Vitalik also chimed in and he said, yeah, everything worked as expected. There was just way too much demand. So,
yeah. Well, anyway, thank you once again. Awesome project. I'm a huge supporter of you. Thanks for answering my questions too.
All right.
Thanks, Joseph. We have
Hey, can I ask a quick question, just since you guys are talking about gas and these NFTs? Jack, can you let everybody know why there's this specific limitation on these NFTs in relation to block sizes on the Ethereum?
So we don't specify the block size. The block size is currently set to, I believe, 3 million or something like that. 3 million gas, that is. So it is impossible to adjust the block size by anyone, which means that the number of VMUs you can specify at most to be safe is 128. Otherwise, you will not fit into the block. And also the validators that validate the block transactions or encode your transactions into blocks may choose not to select anything that's overflowing the block. So that is the structural limitation of the blockchain. And different blockchains have different block sizes, by the way. So I think Polygon has something different.
Let's do Shell Crypto and then Gunin.
Hello all. I've got my little daughter here who's 12 days old, so if you hear in the background, it's her making noise, not me. Just got a few questions. So in regards to adoption, is there anything we can do adoption-wise to make it easier for onboarding kind of the 95% that we're aiming for? So I was kind of envisaging something like when you go to the Zen Fair Crypto website, that you could put in your username or your email address and set up a password, and it sets up a MetaMask or it sets up a Zen wallet for you automatically and it emails you. Is there anything like that in the plans or in the pipework in the future?
That is definitely a possibility, though it could be abused, I would say. So we have to be very, very careful. I would say the best way to go about it, onboarding the world, is just talk to your friends and talk to your family and say, hey, there is this free crypto available and you can play with it right now. You don't have to do much. And if you minted Zen yourself, you can just help them with the MetaMask setup and explain how the passwords work, and then give them some Zen. Just give it to them and tell them what it's all about, and explain what the tokens are and what they could be used for. So I would say that's probably the safest, easiest way to do it, and obviously probably the most dynamic way that will have the best network effect.
Yeah, I was thinking that with Christmas and Thanksgiving and whatnot coming up, that's a good way to give to family and friends and to spread the word.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, people that know you and you know them, you have the most trust, among your friends and family. If you go to some website and the website tells you to do something, I mean, you still need to gain trust. Where on a personal level, I think it just will work better.
You can go now, and so you can finish all your Christmas shopping within minutes. You can choose 30 mint term days and do it for all your family and friends, and you're done. Well, everybody's running on the street and looking for some socks that they're not going to wear anyway. You're already done with your shopping.
Another question I've got, just in regards to centralized and decentralized, I know we don't focus so much on the price, but just on my understanding, so if like a whale came through and spent 100,000 on a centralized exchange, would that increase the price that we see on Uniswap, or would it have to come through the buyer, the purchase on Uniswap direct?
It will increase price everywhere because there is what we call arbitrage bots that will buy on Uniswap and then sell on the same centralized exchange. So as soon as there's a price differential, those bots, which are programs, will try to make 5, 10, 15% on the price being out of sync. So that will generally equalize everything.
Right, I see. Another question I've got in regards to Zen NFT. So how it works is, for example, let's say, for example, I set a batch minter and it's going to end in 6 months' time. I do 125 VMUs and I get like 8 million for each VMU. So that means that I'd get 1 billion. So at the end of the 6 months, do I have the chance to then burn them all and get an NFT, or do I have the choice to or just mint them? What options do I have at the end?
That is a very good question. So at this point, there's various options available. You can just mint. You can mint and share so that you can send it to a different wallet or to a friend's wallet, or you can mint and stake. Now, mint and make NFT is definitely an option, and definitely something that we will be considering for sure, because it just makes sense to do it. At the same time, when it comes to taxes, it's just better not to have the crypto in your wallet and then have a different transaction to burn it. And it's also supposed to be cheaper when you do it on one transaction. So thanks for that suggestion. We will definitely consider implementing it.
Fantastic. Okay, and then for the NFTs, so if I'm a crazy morpho and I want one of those, I want to be one of those people who burn 1 billion. So I've got to have 1 billion in my wallet and then burn them when the NFT comes out.
If you want the rarest one and the highest class of the rarest category, the condition is that you also burn then 1 billion Zen. So that goes within the same transaction. So the input that you choose is you're choosing your VMU, you're choosing the mint term, and then you're choosing the kind of NFT you want or how much you want to burn. And then you're in that transaction, you're allowing the Zen torrent protocol basically to burn your Zen, which you need to have in your wallet address at that time.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna aim for one of them.
All right, just be very careful because you will not be the only one.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think this will go down in history. So yeah, I need to get one.
Okay,
This is 1 million. It's just some word I've heard. It's not like verified. It's just like an example. So we haven't decided exactly what the levels are or whatever. Yeah, we have Gunin has been wanting to ask a question for a long time.
Hey, what's going on, Zenians? What's up, Zensu? What's up, Jack?
Hey, how's it going?
All right. I spoke to a fellow member in the community about this. Excuse me, I'm driving right now. How would you explain to Zenians who are shy of using admin key protocols like, admin key protocols like Popcorn? Like, as far as I know, it's a staking utility, and yes, it has admin keys for its emissions. But I mean, how would you explain to your in layman terms to a typical noob, knowing that we are admin key free community? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, the way that I would explain it is that sometimes you have companies, and companies have boards of directors, and those boards of directors, they decide what to do, with the company's future and their end users and their customers. And then you have decentralization. You have basically the community of people out there that have no control of the code itself, and everybody agree to the same rules. So people work with the code and not with the management team. So that would be the way that I would explain it.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Zensu.
Yeah, I would also add to that. Usually when you're talking about admin keys, especially for DeFi protocols, you need to know it's not a binary thing. Do you have admin keys or not? Zen protocol doesn't have any admin keys. We don't need it for what we're doing. There are DeFi protocols like Yearn, for instance, that do, but they still you can still have some sort of admin keys, but they are you can still live up to being non-custodial. So there's no way for any admin key to take your custody. It's still your keys, your crypto, but there can be functions like guardians, for instance, which have the function to halt deposits should there be any hack going on with the protocol. So people can deposit into that protocol, but they have no power over halting withdrawals, for instance. So the discussion about admin keys, you really need to look at how the protocol is set up. There's different ways to do something, and just because you give some admin some rights, it doesn't mean it's overall bad, so to speak. But preferably, if you can build something without any admin keys, that's the best case.
Yeah, no, I understand. It's just, I don't want for this underlying layer, I just don't want it to bite us back, knowing that it is the first utility that we have that's kind of outside of the Zen network, and just to decide on to vouch for that and to share that with others to kind of help them understand is one thing, but then knowing that it was, or it is, the first protocol for staking Zen on outside of that into a DeFi protocol, is just kind of I guess you could say I just felt it was kind of sketchy in a way, but then again, it's technical as far as how it goes, and maybe always got to recommend folks to read into Popcorn's white paper, or not just Popcorn, any DeFi protocols white paper.
I would say if the protocol this is my take. If the protocol can live up to your keys, your crypto, not being non-custodial, that is like the first thing to look up, the first thing to check, and this is something that everyone can check with protocols if they live up to it. That's the most important thing, and this I know that Popcorn does, for instance. But then there are certain like be proven setups just to mitigate certain how to say it. For instance, like Guardians. I think that's a good example. I know that protocol has that, but it's only if something happens, then they can halt withdrawals just for not letting more users get into trouble. Yeah.
I appreciate you guys' responses. Keep doing your thing. I wish I was in Hawaii, like what's his face right now, man. But yeah, you guys take care.
Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Ozzy, how's it going? Buddy?
What up, Jack?
Hey, I love your cat costume.
Thank you very much. So I guess you asked earlier about difficult questions.
Yeah.
So I guess
bring it.
Yes, I've been saying a lot of positive stuff. Obviously, for those that don't know, I have a YouTube channel. I'm talking a lot about Zen crypto. But I guess for a negative question, well, not really a negative question, just like a more critical thinking type of question. For the long-term aspect, like from the long-term perspective of Zen crypto, we have the fact that we have the 8-year, AMP. It has 3,000 days on there. We're expecting to, throughout that time, we're expecting NFTs, maybe some Zen merch, maybe a Zen, Zen MetaMask type of wallet, maybe, there's many different things that could come out for Zen. And for those first 8 years, while we're waiting for the inflation to completely, die down, we're probably going to be, very excited. But I guess my question is like, after that, then what's next? Because, for Zen to really be a top 10 crypto, it has to have something, that like wow factor that no other crypto has. For example, Bitcoin has the fact that it is the first ever cryptocurrency. Ethereum was the first ever, smart contract, cryptocurrency, DeFi. We have Hex, first ever certificate of deposit. So I guess my question is, what does Zen have after this 8-year roadmap is finished? What's next? What else is for Zen?
Good question. It's going to be amazing, Ozzy. It's going to be the best crypto in the world that brings the world to crypto. That is what we're working for. And one of the big differences between all of the cryptos that you have mentioned. So Bitcoin is pretty much unaffordable. It doesn't have much utility either, even though it was the first one. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to give it to everybody. Everybody. Imagine the whole planet having Zen crypto. Now, that most of the cryptos out there are not built to be tokens of exchange. They're built to be tokens that hold value or increase in value. In our case, we just want the adaptability. We want everybody to build on top of Zen. We want Amazon to take Zen. We want people to buy ice cream using Zen. We want people to just tip each other and pay for massages and get haircuts using Zen. So we are inviting the whole world into this community to build better kind of like this digital exchange of value together with us. And I think we will definitely succeed because we're implementing a lot of features that are very different and I would say stand apart versus the other cryptos out there. A lot of the cryptos are trying to pump their value as much as possible. Well, with the exception of Cardano, I would say those guys are special. But with Zen, we want to be on every chain. We want to everybody be exposed to Zen. We want to understand that crypto does not need to be scary, does not need to be difficult. And when half the planet or a good number of people in the world have Zen or have exposure to Zen, I definitely see companies like Tesla and Amazon and all of those large companies that are serving the world implement Zen as a token of exchange. And we're talking about the utility of connecting the crypto world to the average normie world. But there's ton of stuff to be built within the crypto world too. I mean, think about it. So like, why does Elon Musk loves Doge so much? He likes it because it was kind of like a light-hearted crypto that was created as a joke, and a lot of people have it. The barrier to entry is low. The problem remains, however, if you want to make Doge for yourself, you have to be a miner. You have to have like at least some sort of computer knowledge, or maybe you need to be a computer scientist, whatever, right? With Zen, the barrier is several factors of magnitude lower. So you can make Zen for yourself or for anyone else. You can play games with it. The possibilities are pretty much endless. So utility will come to just due to the fact that we'll probably have the largest community of that crypto. So that's the way I see it. And also, like 8 years seems like a long time, but all that means is that we're in the phase of creating community. You think we're creating Zen? We're actually creating a community that shares an ideology. That is what we're doing. Zen is just this virtual token of exchange that focuses the community on one particular aspect. But the community build is ultimately what we're after. We're not after issuing 1 billion Zen or 1 trillion Zen. We're trying to connect people together. And that is the goal and purpose of Zen's existence.
And what a community. I love this community, the Xenians. We've had so much fun and learned so much from each other the last couple of months. So just imagine when we amplify this and bring in even more people into the Xenian hive mind. I can't wait. It's really the best part of it. If you guys don't have a habit of going into the Telegram and joining the voice chats that we have once in a while, I can really recommend you doing that. It's super fun.
Is there any thoughts of launching an app or like on Play Store or Apple Store?
You kind of dropped off. I didn't really get that question.
He asked if we had any plans to make an app or something for.
So I think, so we're a small team, but we want to bring the builders together. We want everybody to build. So what we possibly going to do is we'll probably start collecting some sort of like a treasury or a fund that that actually engages builders and subsidizes the community build and the application build. So we can't build everything, but together as a community, we can build anything we want. So that will be the definition of success. It wouldn't be like, okay, this uber shadowy super quarter team like just does everything. This is not what we stand for. We just want everybody who have the best minds come together and build something amazing with us.
Yeah, GRC, you have a question, and we're letting up Crypto Guru here as well.
I forgot my question, but that someone mentioned what separates Zen from other cryptos, and Zen is the first fair crypto launch. You know, you can't figure out how to game it. Like, unfortunately, the thing that a lot of people don't understand about DeFi is that a lot of the circulating supply is on the market generally once a lot of these things are launched. And a lot of people think that's the negative about Zen, but really it's the positive, because it makes guys that are a little more aggressive, guys that have a little more USD, really have to be more patient and focused if they really even do want to shark money from, buy bottoms and, do whatever they want to do. It makes it difficult. Like, it makes it unappealing, and it moves those people in a different direction, right? But right. I'm new enough where I don't care, because I'm new-ish. So it's like, this is cool for me. But I could see why, like, some of the bigger players don't immediately flock to it, right?
Yeah. Hey guys, I have to jet, but Zensu, feel free to continue talking if you want. I do have to go. I will make a copy on Jack Levin's official YouTube of this conversation, so it's gonna come up, and obviously it is recorded spaces, so it will be available on Twitter. But if you guys want to continue talking, by all means do. But I do have a hard stop that I need to attend to. So. Thank you very much for your attention and this beautiful conversation we had. Let's obviously do it again the next day or maybe the day after.
Thank you, Jack. Amazing to have you here. Just to connect to what you said, Jerzy, I think Zen is working excellent as an onboarding tool, exactly like it's been intending to. But then for like bigger players to come in and it's still pretty early as a project, and the price discovery is pretty schizophrenic still. They would have to understand the tokenomics. So to really dig down deep in it, you would have to understand all of the different factors that come in. What's being implemented now with the Zen NFT, where we're really like using the burn function. I mean, that's for this experiment, because everything is an experiment. That's going to be super interesting to see what effect that has on people's perception of Zen, on the supply, and as a game mechanic, it also for price appreciation, even though needs to be very clear that Zen's like the question to ask here is the problem with crypto. It's that it's focused so much on price, almost to the degree of obsession, in my opinion. The question here, because we've been trying to pump crypto with fiat, in dollars and cents, and measured everything in market cap and TVL. But the question is, has that stopped us from really going for adoption? And the question is adoption really dependent on a positive price chart and liquidity in the market?
I mean, you need active liquidity for sure. Like, I mean, if the price chart's not regulated to some degree, or found a home for where it should be, people aren't going to want to buy it. And a lot of the reason people will get into Zen, truthfully, is because of the volatility. But that's not why most people will probably get into it. I mean, Zen for the right reasons. But the truth of the matter is, these are financial instruments that are about providing liquidity, earning fees, staking, and holding. And I mean, people don't really understand the metrics as far as the numbers, like in the circulating supply, but look at that market cap and look at the circulating supply and use those numbers to understand a little bit more about the way Zen is kind of working and how many people are minting, because that's really what's important with the products that are kind of distributed slowly. Like there's other products that I've seen that, not the same kind of products really, but distributed in that kind of manner, and it takes time for that liquidity to build up. And as long as it's safe enough for the average person to sell, the average person will get in it. But generally larger players will not want to get in, which is probably a good thing for sure at this stage.
Yeah, I agree. It's hurry slowly. There's a saying in Swedish. I don't know if it translates to American, but the liquidity definitely has a position. What I'm curious with Zen is if to what extent that is really important. I totally agree with you that you need some sort of you need the buyer for the project to work. However, you don't need necessarily a buyer in order to talk about Zen and to onboard people into the project and for them to start minting. So yeah,
it makes sense. Yeah, it's just the angle that you look at it for sure.
Yeah, what I'm like very curious with this project is like, because it is like the first opportunity where you can onboard people and you don't have to it's a very fundamental thing, but you don't have to if you're going to onboard your friend, your normie friend, you for them to really step in and start playing, they don't have to in that equation before you start playing have to transfer some value and have to adopt that sort of investing mindset. Okay, I want in, what should I buy? Should I buy Bitcoin and whatever? They can just get some ETH and then play around with all the tools with Zen and now this NFTs, etc., etc. So I'm really curious to see how that, and it's been so short time, so I'm also very curious about what the community is going to build for different adoption apps on top of this, because I don't know if you guys heard the AMA that Jack was in a few hours ago with OKC, where they involved some NFT players as well, and the guy said something that's very true. It's that like NFT as a word is pretty like it's a pretty bad word. It's like it stands for non-fungible tokens, but it's like it's an acronym and it doesn't say anything in a comprehensible way. But it's sort of like for NFTs to adopt, it's not going to be about talking about NFTs. It's going to be to integrate them in games and in different apps, and so you don't really know what it's like. We're using voice over IP, but you don't really know that it's voice over IP. You know, it's just integrated. So everything that's going to be built on top of Zen, it's going to be amazing, and people should be incentivized to build on it because there's less uncertainties. There's less points of failures due to the fact that you don't have to trust anyone. It's trustless, it's immutable code, etc. It's transparent. So yeah, Crypto Guru, you have a question? And yeah.
Hey guys, thanks Zen. So just staying on the NFT bit there, NFT is just a box and you can just put whatever you want in that box. So you can put 1 year of your Zen locked up. Someone buys that NFT, they will get that 1 year locked up Zen. You can put up any utility you want in that box. So I think so that was just a comment based upon what you were talking earlier. In terms of Zen, the question is the utility bit. Burning is sexy, excitable, and gets people thinking, oh, I have 26 million Zen, and okay, I will probably community will mint NFTs and burn this much amount. I think what we should focus as a Zen community, I'm a day one minter, by the way, so absolutely.
What's your C rank, bro?
Sorry?
What's your rank, bro?
I don't know what my rank is. I don't care.
Come on.
Sorry, hear me out, please. I think the NFT projects that build on Zen should focus on utility more rather than encouraging this silly burning thing so that your tokens are worth more or shit. I think we should probably attract. So NFT 1.0 was 2017 when we were minting just monkey pictures. Yes, some of them went crazy. It was a gamble. It was a gambling market. Everyone was gambling. I think NFT 2.0 can build on Zen. NFT 2.0 could be absolutely sensationally utility-based NFTs. So in one context, you can have a Discord server with, I don't know, trading calls, penny stocks or stocks. It could call NFT mints. It could call so on and so forth. So I think we need to move towards NFT 2.0, NFT 0.5, NFT 3.0. And then Zen
Is
could
there a
provide.
part of you that feels that NFT 1.0 was propped up by Solana and all these VCs that are crashing at the moment?
No, I think it was more on ETH because ETH for 2 years didn't had any utility. The first utility on ETH was gambling. If you guys are old enough as me, I'm a old person. There was no utility on Ethereum for 2 years. So I think
Was there
it was.
censorship resistance?
I think these are complicated topics, and I don't want to divert away from Zen here. What I'm trying to push Zen, Zu, and Jack, if he's still listening, yes, burn is exciting, but probably we should focus on attracting NFT 2.0, NFT 3.0. Thanks.
Sure. So what we need, what we are doing is providing the tools for people to build with, and we're showing how to do so. So people want there's utility in having like a burn function, for instance, and that's why we have that activated as a function in the original ERC20 contract. And now with this project, there's many reasons why we do this and why we do it this way, but also one of them is to illustrate that this is how you can activate a burn function in this way. And we also want to demonstrate the range of how to perceive value, because it is about education at the end of the day, as well as introducing a more fair mediums of exchange. So you can have a system where it's more fair to operate with, but in doing so, like the effect of doing this, it's fostering adoption because we're reaching new markets, and we're doing so. If you look at like the Metcalfe's law, for instance, now since we're in 10 chains, we're adding a new layer and we're getting to 10 other NFT marketplaces just by like the push of a button. In terms of adoption, it's very interesting by providing these tools to a market, and then having, ultimately you want people to do things in life, and then of course I'm going to use Zen for it because ... and then we can talk about forever why they would want to do so, but we sort of need to like push it out to them with different use cases as well.
So in terms of funding, Jack just said that we are a small team. So I am a massive Cosmos guy. So I was so happy when you guys had FMOS as a chain on which you can mint. So the question is in terms of the multi-chain future, which you guys have already accepted, and IBC, which is Inter-Blockchain Communication Protocol, is absolutely vital in the Cosmos blockchain. So one of the features there is many projects have these developer grants. So I'm just wondering, number one, what is your source of funding? And B, how much long runway you have? And C, are there any grants for developers to come and build? Thanks. And that is my last question. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Cryptoguru. Of course, you should answer those things. We made a light paper, and then we've introduced it to community, and we wanted and have done this as a community. We don't have a treasury, we don't have a DAO, we don't have anything. I can only speak for myself. The reason I'm doing this is because I'm very passionate about this mission to introduce first principles to the world. I've had zero money, I've had a lot of money, and I know that even if I have millions on my account, it doesn't matter if it's in a system where they can be halted my withdrawals at any second. where I don't have a freedom to move anywhere, where the system I'm participating in is not transparent, where I can be moved out by a whale at any second because it's centralized, etc., etc. I don't want to live in that world. So this is the reason I'm doing this. I don't have a salary or anything. We've had quite a big impact, but it's interesting to note that we spent $0 on marketing. We're getting hit up by marketers every day who wants to give us like 60% discount on a great deal, but we don't have that, and it's pretty much been on a voluntary basis, fall through, even like in the team, and but then there are of course costs like audits costs and etc. And if we scale up, there might be something like added in the way. We haven't really thought about that, but I wouldn't exclude it. Not like in the core basic like protocols, but I don't know what could be done it's also interesting if we were to create some sort of like treasury which people could donate to, and then have that to like spur on community projects, adoption wise, etc., that we would like really see to happen. So yeah, sort of. I hope that answers all those questions.
Yeah, it does. And what is the, again, many of the people here might be thinking, because I'm pretty sure many are passionate folk, how do you get to the team? Like when you expand,
I would just
what is the criteria? Is it just voluntary, or is there a process there? Let's say if someone wants to passionately make YouTube videos, Jack is absolutely sensational. I don't think we need anyone else other than Jack, but maybe in some other departments, I don't know. What is the criteria there if someone wants to be part of the team? Not community, part of the team. Thanks.
The team is really small. I mean, there wouldn't be any like reason to specifically be there. Everything like thrives from the community. We're there every day on Telegram. That's where we hang out and we talk and we integrate with the community in the different chat rooms. We're setting up like massive amounts of new language groups, by the way. I don't know if they're in the pasta menu yet, but they will be. So we're just preparing for like massive scale right now. But the thing the most important thing around that is that the protocol is open. We can't really like we don't have we don't have like liquidity. We haven't pre-mined anything, so we're really doing everything we're doing as much as possible as a community. We're involving you guys in like the creation of new products on the light paper level to get your feedback, and people have ideas, and for some things, I see Joe Blau here is in the audience, for instance. He didn't ask permission. He just created a new interface, Zen.fyi. You can check it out. It's amazing. I go there all the time because you can see all of the different C ranks, all the global ranks that were created in the first interface. But my point here is we want people to just like come in and say and feel, okay, this is missing, I'm gonna do it, without asking sort of permission. It's a duocracy. We're makers, we're not talkers. We are innovating together. So we want it to be a platform where you can come in and spur your creativity and feel like this is an amazing place, it's an amazing community, it's the best one I've been in. I love the idea. I trust the protocols that's underlying because I can verify it. It makes sense. It's important. It gives me much value, not only for the people and life is so much more than to just focus on the economic opportunity. I'm not saying it's not important for me too, which is this, but I'm just saying if you can align that economic opportunity with creativity and doing it together with other people and solving complex problems together, that's so much more rewarding in life in general. You don't. It's sort of like if you're just trying to make money for a future state and like 5-10 years, it's sort of like you're holding your breath until and then you're thinking, then I'm gonna live then. No, you should live now. You should do what you love. You should do what's important, and you should align that with a way that's important for you in the future as well. So we really try to do everything as open as possible, and yeah, it's a long answer.
Thanks. I'll let other community members ask questions. Thank you.
Yeah, guys, do we have one more question? I need to go and do some work after this, but it's amazing. Thanks for all the questions you had so far. Denixen, you have some famous last words. Yeah, guys.
Oh, really? Did you say me? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Yeah, I just asked if you had something you wanted to say. We have 3 Factory who wants to ask something, and yeah, then I'll just summarize a little bit, and I think we're good. We've been going for more than 2 hours this time.
Well, I'll keep it short and sweet then. Mint on, everyone.
That's good. C3 Factory, you have a question?
Hey guys, how's everyone doing? Just real quick, I was wondering, is it possible maybe with the NFT mint to maybe use Zen to as a burning function to maybe if you add it to the NFT, it adds an additional yield of some sort or a multiplier of some sort? I'm just thinking like kind of outside the box. And then secondly, I just wanted to say, Zen has given me a lot of focus in my life. I'm very passionate about crypto. I'm relatively new. I've been around for like 2-3 years, but I talk about it with my family all the time, my friends all the time. And like Zen, it's about bringing awareness, right? So that's kind of what we can use it for. The education factor. I mean, maybe it's naive of me to think that it's possible to do this, but like, why not use Zen as the tool for teaching financial literacy in blockchain and crypto to children and people that don't understand crypto yet. I mean, it really could be that thing, that tool that we can use for that. And it's just a matter of us coming together, writing this stuff up and getting it out there. And maybe it'll be taught in schools, maybe on a collegiate level, where I don't know, but that's kind of where my mind goes with it. It's not just about price. I think the price will come. You can make money off of it now if you want to. You can mint, and do that, but it's much bigger than that for me. And so, that's kind of what where my mind goes with it. But as far as the NFT goes and the burning and us looking for some feature like that, is it possible to maybe with the NFT, take a portion of your Zen, you're going to be able to burn it and get a different level. I understand that, but maybe there's a way to add the Zen to that as well to add like another multiplier, or what I'm getting at with that. So that's kind of my 2 cents of what I was thinking.
Yeah, C3 Factory. Thanks for your thoughts. So, I mean, in order to transact, you need an all chains. You need to use their native gas token. But it's definitely interesting to at least ask those questions and to think about it, because we lower the barrier as much as possible. So you can introduce someone and say, "Hey, you can mint for free now." We remove that obstacle, but you still have to pay gas. So you still need to acquire gas somehow. So are there any ways how we can circumvent that sort of last obstacle for people to onboard. It's very like the first thing to solve any problem is to define the problem and to ask those questions. So good on you for doing so. And you're perfectly also right with the fact that it can bring a lot of purpose. It has for me, and I'm happy to hear it. It does for others too, because the question to ask is also for everyone. Like now, when we have Zen with all and everything that is Zen, what can we do now that we couldn't do before? It's very easy to look at Zen with the old pair of glasses and the old pair of eyes and say, Zen will only be possible to do this. But as you say, like there's a bunch of other use cases that it can be used for. I'm pretty shocked that more wallets haven't integrated yet. For instance, like it's an amazing tool for them to get users. Like, hey, you can download our wallet for free, get some Zen for free, and start playing with our wallet. It's an amazing use case. Also for education, I included it in education number 1 as the best use case. Like you can even educate kids with analogies on this. So I'm hoping to see a lot of people doing stuff with that, since it's a tool that they can be, and it's like an excuse in order to tell people about it, because we who are here now, we're excited about blockchain, and we've been screaming at the top of our lungs for our normie friends for years, like this is so cool. And even though we get hammered again and again and again as an industry, we're still here because we believe in this. But now Zen can work as a tool for them to try it out without risking anything. So thank you so much, C3 Factory. I've been seeing you in the community for a long time. Makes me very happy. I really love this community. It gives me so much joy. It's why I do this more than anything. So many amazing people all over the world. It's also cool to see like the Google Analytics. Maybe Jack can share some of that. But the widespread things, I've been creating a lot of projects in my life, but the spread of Zen, like globally, everywhere, it's truly like remarkable. And guys, we've just been like, we're in the infancy. Like we are like, we just created this together. Imagine in a year where we're gonna be if we maintain this pace. Even we don't have to accelerate. We just have to keep this pace and doing what we're doing. And who knows? Like, dare to dream a little bit. Like you've seen the protocol. It does make sense to you. Otherwise, you wouldn't come back. So there's something there. What can we do with this? I invite you to dream and to visualize and to fantasize about the possibilities that we can do with this. And I think this year has been rough for a lot of people, but again, a lot of it can be derived from projects not following first principles. So I think we're on the right track here with this protocol and timing as well. There's a lot of arguments for why Zen is relevant, and yeah, it's going to be very exciting. I can't wait for this launch of the Zen NFTs and see those dynamics as well. I think it's going to be an amplifier for adoption, both in terms of network effect, but also in terms of, the strong network effect. You need nodes and you need connection between those nodes, and you need like a reason for those nodes to interact with each other. So the more reasons we give and the more nodes we create and the stronger connections we make, the stronger network effect we're going to have, and it's going to accelerate. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this day's AMA. we're trying to do these AMAs more and more now, like if we can, like sort of on a daily basis, so you guys can come in and ask and share and whatever. So thank you so much. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.
Take it easy, Zensu. Thanks for the AMA today.
Thank you so much. Love you guys. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Zensu. Later.